It's crazy. But anyway, my name's Nev, dude. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. I'm Dylan. Thanks
Yeah,
for having
yeah.
me.
Yeah, of course. Man, I love your band. So it's cool to have you on the show finally. So man, full of hell, I've come back to Australia with our this August, which is going to be just great, man. How you feeling about coming back?
Oh, dude, we can't wait. I mean, we've been wanting to come back since the last time we were there, obviously.
Mm,
We kind of had trouble getting linked up with a person that wasn't like a friend, just like a normal friend that wasn't a promoter. We kind of wanted to come back down maybe a little more, not professionally because our friends have done an amazing job, but it's a huge burden to ask like our friends to book us tours, and with all of the overhead that goes into it.
yeah.
So we just wait until we got in touch with the right person. And Greg at United Front, I talked to him a few times and it was just like he's a great guy and the tour looks great and we're really good friends with Val and we have tons of friends down in Australia we haven't seen in ages. So, you know, um just about as positive as can feel about a tour. We're really pumped.
Because you've toured with Dow a bunch in the past, right?
Yeah, so we did a Converge tour with them after COVID. That was the only, like, technically the only tour, but we've played tons of shows with them over the years, and we've just known them since we started the band. And like the singer of Thou, for instance, is just like he's kind of like a big brother type of guy for me. He's like a DIY champion. He owns his own record store, and Val just has done things in such a cool and interesting way that he's always kind of been there to like pick on us and give us good advice. So yeah, we go back with those guys like so far. So it's like him I was telling the promoter like him booking the tour is kind of like giving us this huge gift of getting to tour this place in the world that we love with people we love. It's like a very special opportunity for sure.
Have you been texting those boys? Going like, hey
Oh,
man, we're gonna go to Australia and we're gonna like do this and this and this.
oh, big time. And the current Thou drummer, this guy Tyler, he's like one of the best drummers in North America, if not the world, like totally out of his mind. And we've known him from his previous bands like Yautja and Narwhal. He's just like a total maniac. And we've known him even longer than we've known the Thou guys. And when we toured with Thou, he was the one that was like getting really greasy with us and like partying with the boys like constantly. So I've been talking to him like in particular like a lot. But overall, like we're just excited. Like that's usually like one of the only variables is like what are the people going to be like on the tour? But we know, they're like very close friends. So yeah, I mean, we're all really fucking stoked. Like that's about all there is to it.
Oh man, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
What was the last one? What, 2015 was it?
Yeah, yeah. So we came down in 2014, and then right back in 15. Yeah. So
Mm.
it's been 9 years. Yeah.
Almost a decade, bro. That's way too long.
It's really weird. The first time we came down, we played like 23, 24 shows. This kid I didn't even know cold emailed us and was like, "Hey, I think I can book you a tour. You should just let me do it. I'll buy your plane tickets." And I checked him out on Facebook to like suss him out a little bit, and he looked like a Tim and Eric character. So I was like, "This looks good. This guy's got a really fucked up haircut. He looks like a goofball." Turns out, like, the tour went off without a hitch. We made a whole bunch of friends. We swam every day for a month. And he's like still one of my best friends in the whole world, like to this day. We've toured all over the world together at this point, and I haven't seen him since like well before COVID. So, real excited. He's coming on the tour too. He's a Canberra guy. So
Who's
yeah, I
that?
don't know. His name's Jordan Leakspin. He runs a record label called Lackluster Records. He's a teacher. Yeah, he's a good guy. He had a house in Canberra that he had a lot of cool shows at, like some pretty significant shows for such a little tiny place. And he still does shows every now and then, I think, but he's got a pretty serious gig teaching. So, you know, life hit him.
Oh yeah, the old that one. I know that one.
Yeah, you remember that old chestnut, that old
Yeah,
disappointment.
it'll fucking yeah. Funny enough, I'm at my office right now at work.
Oh
So
yeah, man.
see, if you turn this skull off, it's all paperwork. But
Yeah,
gotta
just stacks of papers.
oh man, you know what it's like. You gotta do
Oh
what you
yeah.
gotta do. But man, of course, your latest album, Coagulated Bliss. Did I say that right this morning? Coagulated
Yeah.
Bliss is a different record. It really seems like you pushed your sound in some really different directions than your previous work. What inspired that this time?
That's kind of like an ongoing mission. I don't even think like there were any necessarily unique thoughts. I think like we've been a band for so long that everybody is able to kind of like track where we've come from, like where we incubated. Because like previously, none of us had ever even put out a pressed record before in our lives. The Full of Hell demo 7 inch is our first 7 inch ever. So this is like a roadmap of who we've always wanted to be, and it's always been a work in progress. So I think like some of the concepts behind the record, like the inspirations, they've been stuff Spencer, the guitar player, has been trying to do for a long time.
Mm,
I just think there's just so many factors that go into playing live music and writing records. Like, I just think it took time for him and all of us to kind of grow up and like get to this nice little point where our influences were crystallized and we understood maybe how to attack them a little better. And maybe we didn't really care. We really, truly didn't care what people thought because, it's really hard when you're really ambitious, and we've always been
mm,
really ambitious. It's hard not to set standards that aren't even yours and like have to meet them. And you don't even know where those standards came from after a while. They're just like ingrained in your brain. And I think with Bliss, it was just like we'd been attempting to do this thing with like noise rock and no wave and grindcore for so long that we were just like kind of like fuck it, dive in, 2 feet first and like actually go for it. And I think that's a confidence thing too. I mean, I think there's a lot to it. Musicians are really, I think, self-conscious and narcissistic and like, they're goofy. So I think it just takes us time to like get some guts and like have a sense of identity. So that's that record to me. It's like starting to crystallize into maybe what we want to sound like this whole time.
and how some of those tracks go down live? Now, because you recently, who'd you tour with recently?
We
Um,
just did Dying Fetus,
Dying
actually.
Fetus, that's right.
Yeah.
Who are,
It was awesome.
man, that would have been sick. Like, that's a whole
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, dude, we've been listening to Fetus, as I'm sure you as well, but since we were literally children, they were like one of the first metal bands I ever saw in a club. So it was amazing. And it was kind of funny doing the tour now because I feel like this record is the most like colorful and like maybe even a little poppy, like the poppiest record, the most
yeah.
like rock song structure, in certain tracks. But as far as how they go down live, I mean, this record above all is like the most fun to play and easiest to play front to back live. Because the other records, there might have been moments like where like Dave's blasting for 90 seconds and then Little Phil and then 90 seconds more blasting, or like there's this weird program drum section that is just kind of like irritating to like navigate live. This record, I feel like like the live setting was considered very heavily comparatively. So I want to play it front to back. Like, and the songs are really fun. So it depends on the audience though too.
Mm.
It went over fine with the Fetus audience, which honestly I was pretty surprised. I
They're
kind
the
of
hard
expected
ones.
thought they'd buck at it, but I didn't detect. I mean, I'm positive it was there, but like I didn't detect it, and I'm usually pretty aware of that kind of thing. I went into it pretty nervous, honestly, because it was just us and three death. Like it was us and 200 stab wounds and cruelty, and 200 and cruelty are just like going for brutal. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
just want to
yeah.
be a brutal band or whatever. And Fetus obviously is just like psycho music, and we were just starting to kind of lean into something else. But we ended up standing out a little bit. I think it was fun. I didn't really detect any static.
That's good, man. I can't wait to hear some of those tracks live, eh? It's going to be such a good tour.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Man.
man. We got to Well, it's been so long. We have to play. We're gonna play like all kinds of old stuff too, because 9 years, like most of the like I notice like a lot of kids as I get older that are aging into the scene or whatever,
Mm.
they're not even like really aware of what we were doing like pre trumpeting ecstasy. So though and we haven't even been down there since trumpeting ecstasy's been out. So I think we have to play a lot of different stuff. There'll be a few new songs, but I think a lot of stuff we never toured on down there.
That's wild to
So
me, man. Because there's something happening right now in the hardcore and deathcore scene, and the noise scene is super fucking strong down here, man, right now.
yeah, I get that feeling.
Um, it's nuts, man. There's this whole pocket, and all ages shows, especially, are just fucking popping, dude. So
It's
there's,
good.
yeah, which is something I don't know, man. It was a bit weird for a while.
It
it's not
was.
necessarily
I
my
always were.
scene, but man, there's all these kids that are coming up that are going to be like frothing you to see you live because they weren't that age when you came the first time, you know?
It's
So
weird, dude. Well, because we were always the kids, so I always felt like we're the young band. And then it wasn't really until after COVID, like day one of that Converge tour, those guys are even older than I am, so those guys are dusty. But like, I remember talking to some kid right when the show started, and he's like, I was like, wait a second, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 17, and I was like, holy shit, you're younger than my like 10 years younger baby sister. I'm over 30 now, so it kind of hit me, and not in a bad way either. I don't really have like an
yeah.
existential crisis over that. But yeah, I noticed like yeah, we're all aging. We're all older now. We're not the kids anymore, and there's like multiple generations of music fans that have come since. It's it's exciting though. It's cool that they still find this stuff relevant, and it's an exciting time in heavy music. There's like drawbacks of like there's like negatives with like the whole like TikTok thing, and like with like a huge influx of like casual fans or whatever, especially with hardcore. Like you see a lot of kids like that kind of maybe don't know like the rhythm of the show or whatever. But I think it's a net positive for musicians. I'm sure as a fan I might be a little more annoyed, but as a musician, it's exciting
Yeah,
because
man.
everybody really hyped about everything.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And man, you've done a few collab records, and one of those is one of my favorite bands, Nothing.
Yeah, dude, they're
Like,
awesome.
fuck, I love that band so much. But how is it working with those guys? Like, how does that even work creatively when it's hard enough. Look, man, I'm in a band. It's hard enough trying to get five dudes together in a room to do one thing, let alone
Right.
two bands together to do one thing.
Well, we've done a lot of them at that point. We've done a bunch of collabs, so we kind of like had a good vibe of how to work with a bunch of people in a room. And so it was Nikki and Doyle. And Nikki is a collaborator. There's been like a million members of Nothing. So
Yes.
and he's also a genius. So and Doyle has been in a million bands and is just like a down genius. Like he's just like into all kinds of stuff and is very easy to jam with. And like musically, it wasn't really that different because like Nothing writes like maybe they have moments of like softness in their music, but like they're pretty big fans of like the wall of sound,
Mm,
like the whole wall of sound idea, and they're really into like My Bloody Valentine and the noisier side of shoegaze. So, and I think what like people forget about us, not you, but like just like a lot of maybe music journalists or like maybe even kids, they're like shocked that we don't listen to grindcore. But like every grindcore band I know, every metal band I know, they all listen to all kinds of stuff. But like Full of Hell's tempo isn't even all fast. They're like we love to play slow. That's like always been a huge part of our DNA, and we love shoegaze. Always have. And like, we love bands like Swans, especially like the latter day stuff. So it actually made a lot of sense for us to do like a really loud record with Nothing. Like it was really easy to write. I'm sweating that one right now though because we're playing it in
ooh,
like a couple weeks, and I
yeah.
keep thinking about it because we've only played it. We played like a version of it live once, but it's just a lot of stress around the show for me because I'm trying to remember all the lyrics. It's not a lot of lyrics, but I don't want to fuck it up because it's an album playthrough. And we booked it in this big room thinking like, who knows, maybe people want to go, and now it's like gonna be packed, and I want it to be really good. At least my role is small. I can trust in my bandmates. There's a lot of people in the room that are really talented around me, so I always have that to lean on. But the whole collab thing in general with those guys was just easy. I mean, Nikki's a genius, like really is a genius, like so easy to work with and inspiring, you know. Um, I can't really say much more than that. Like it rules. I'm really grateful we got to do it because I'm also a fan of Nothing.
Man, The Great Dismal was like my album of that year. Like,
That's all.
fuck, that album just got
He's a
me
hit
good,
factory.
eh?
And the cool thing about him is like he definitely has pop sensibility and like can write like a good catchy song and everything
Yeah.
with hooks and all of that. But it's so confrontational too,
Yeah.
and so dark. And I don't know. I like that I think it's challenging. And I think people get to a point, I think when they write music too, like a lot of people, it's exciting to imagine like how you can put really challenging music in front of people that wouldn't normally even try to digest something like that. Like there's like a trick to it. I don't know. It's neat. Nothing definitely toes the line. It's cool.
Yeah, I agree, man. So is there anyone you want to collaborate with? Is there who's on your hit list?
Um, I always would say Justin Broderick from Godflesh. We've done a
Oh,
couple tracks with him. He's on, actually, we finished a record that's at press now. That's another collab. And he's on it a lot, actually. He's got like a whole song he plays guitar and sings on. So I don't really know anymore, to be honest. Because I just like some of the guys I'd want to maybe, I don't know. I've been asked that before and I never have an answer anymore. I don't know. Whoever I become really, really good friends with that I look up to musically in general, like touring with, I don't know.
mm,
I'd want to discover something new. Um, I don't know. We don't even have any collabs planned at the moment. I know we'll do them. I think we'll probably end up doing a record with our friend Eric Wood, who did Man is the Bastard and does Bastard Noise. Um, that's like one of the last like great heroes that we would want to be working with, to be honest. And that we've been talking about it a lot. So it's a nice thing to be able to say, but we've gotten to work with a lot of people that I just really I look up to and admire. It would be cool to do something with Converge or Old Man Gloom or
ooh,
Caven or something. I love those. Any of those Boston guys would be cool. Greater Massachusetts area. But whatever. We'll just play it by ear and see what comes across the desk, I guess.
that's exciting, man. That's exciting. Yeah, I mean, you did Health. I mean, you
Oh
collabed with
yeah, that
those
was
guys.
random too. Those guys are
Yeah.
out of their fucking minds, man. They're weird. They're really weird people. That's I say that my band, we're freaks, like straight up weirdos, but like Health is so funny and so
Yeah,
weird and like no one else. They've been a band for so long too, and they didn't even used to sound like that. Like I
they
don't
were
know.
noisy, man.
They were like a noisy kind of almost like emo noodly band that I
Yeah,
really loved in high school as well. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. We've just been really lucky. I can't wait for
that's
like all
cool.
the
Well, man, what's next after the tour? Like, have you got more stuff on the way or big
Yeah,
touring
yeah, yeah.
plans?
So, I mean, yeah, it's never gonna stop, I don't think. So we're doing Sound and Fury, and then we're coming down there, and we're doing Asia after that, and then we're playing Furnace Fest and New England Metal and Hardcore Fest. Those will be interesting, and we're doing a fall tour that's not announced yet in the States. Um, that'll be cool. I guess I can't really talk about it yet, but yeah, actually, I don't know. And then after, yeah, I hate to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but into 25, I don't really know. Everybody talks Mexico, Japan. We have to go back to Europe eventually.
Yep.
So it's what a fortunate, set of circumstances.
And then back to Australia. Don't leave us too long, man.
Oh,
Let's
dude.
make it a
Anytime. Honestly, with the places that are that special, it's hard to go often because you don't want it to get stale for people that come to see your band. So
mm.
the places we love the most, we come the least often.
Ah, man. Well, we can't wait. It's going to be awesome, brother.
Can't wait, man. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, in the meantime, we're going to have all the links down here in the show notes and on the website. Brother, I hope you get your power back soon. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, within 24 hours, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope to see you down there, man.
I'll be there in Brisbane, bro. I'll see you there.
All right, brother. Take
Take
care,
care,
man.
man.